Welcome everyone, I am Meredith Abbott. I'm manager of culinary content here at Sur La Table, and I'm here today with
Danielle Boti. I am a recipe developer for the company. Welcome to our Turkey Day.
It's so exciting. Can't believe it's here. I feel like it was just a week ago that we were doing this last year. Every Friday we will have a new video coming your way until the big day, so make sure that you're checking us out. And today we are gonna go through 4 different ways to cook your Thanksgiving turkey. We're gonna go through the pros, the cons, anything that you need to know, and just kind of give you our opinions on them. Danielle, do you want to start us out?
We've got a lot of turkey here today, as you can see. We prepared our turkeys 4 different ways. We sous vided our turkey, we fried, we spatchcocked, and we traditionally roasted. So the first one is our sous vide. So Meredith, you sous vided this yesterday. Can you talk us through this a little bit?
Yep, so I had it in our wonderful stasher bags. So each piece of the turkey, I broke it down into 4 pieces. So we have our breast that I took off the bone, and we have our whole leg. You will get 2 breasts, 2 legs off of each turkey. So it took 4 stasher bags. They fit great in there. I put slices of lemon, varieties of fresh herbs in there with it.
Did you dry brine it?
I did dry brine it. Dry brining we will cover when we talk about frying. And then I put them in the bag, got as much air out as I can, and then submerged it into the water and used our Anova Pro set at 140 degrees. And I let it go for about 4 hours, but you can actually do them overnight, which is a huge time-saving tip. You can sous vide your turkey the day before, and then moments before, what did you do to get this beautiful brown skin?
We gotta finish it off. So we heated it in the oven at 350. We got the skin nice and crispy, but we didn't get a lot of color. So the best way to get some color is to use your kitchen torch, which is so fun to use. So take your kitchen torch and you're gonna torch the top. It's gonna get the skin nice and crispy. You're gonna get that wonderful smell that you don't necessarily get from sous vide because you're cooking at such a low temp. So, and then you have your beautiful sous vide, perfectly cooked, the exact temperatures you want, turkey breast and your legs.
Yep. So moving on to the next piece, we deep fried some turkeys. Here in the test kitchen, we do not have the ability to set up one of those huge burners with the huge pots and drop the whole turkey down. So I use our nifty poultry shears here to help me break down the turkey. You remove, these are all bone in, so you take out the backbone, you remove the breasts off, and then you remove the thighs. And then these were also dry brine.
Right, and this is our dry brine here. And so dry brine has a whole bunch of different herbs. We've got lots of salt, lemon zest. First you're gonna dry off your bird completely. That is the best way to get crispy skin. So you're gonna dry it off, and then you're gonna rub it with your dry brine. Did you brine with some butter with this as well?
Not in the dry brine.
Not in the dry brine. So we rub this all over, we let it sit overnight, and then when it's time to fry, we get our oil to 350. And if you were doing this outside and you can do a whole bird, you can put your whole bird in. It's about 3.5 minutes per pound. So generally that's about 45 minutes for, a 15-pound turkey, 11 to 15-pound turkey. And then you're going to fry that for, as I said, 3.5 minutes. And then you have really crispy, delicious skin. And actually, it only adds about 5% more calories when you deep fry your turkey, and you get really great moist skin. So, and we're talking about calories for Thanksgiving. 5% more really doesn't make that much of a difference.
No,
so if you want to try frying it, really
that's like 1 less bite of pumpkin pie.
Yeah. That's right.
And with the fried, it is a great way to really get that crispy skin. People are gonna hate me for saying this. My only issue with it is that it tends to dry out the breast a little bit at the ends. That also is why you brine, but I also do love that you get like chicken wings. You get turkey wings with all the little pieces that you can also fry, so it's super fun.
And you're taking the pieces out as they're done, right?
Yeah.
You're temping them, so what's really important is that you should have an instant thermometer on hand so that you can take out your pieces as they're done.
And what do you take it out at?
I take it at 165.
Yep, I do
Poultry,
too.
yeah.
Even with carryover cooking,
Right.
which is the process of when you take something out,
Right.
the residual heat will keep it cooking. With poultry, I like the texture of totally cooked meat.
We want to be safe, so 165 is a number that you need to go at.
Remember that number.
Okay.
And when you temp, you want to make sure that you're not touching the actual bone of the bird either, because that will make it seem like it's a lot hotter than it really is.
Right. All right, so we have our next bird. This is spatchcocked. Spatchcock means dispatch the cock. It's the way of preparing a bird, or in this case, our turkey, so that everything is generally the same thickness. Now, it just kind of helps so that everything cooks a little more evenly. So what you're gonna do to prepare it is you're gonna cut out the backbone. So poultry shears are essential.
Or a chef's knife.
Oh yeah, totally works too. And then you're gonna flatten it. You're gonna use the heel of your hand to push down, and you're actually gonna crack that breastbone so you get it nice and flat. And do we dry brine this one as well?
And I just want to say,
yes,
this one was hard to crack. The breastbone was quite
thick. Was it a big
thick? So on the underside of the bird, if you looked on the inside of the cavity, once I got the backbone out, I took my chef's knife and scored the underside of that breastbone a little bit, just to kind of help me out a little bit, because it was not wanting to crack. And I also took off the little wing tips as well, because those were going to get super crispy.
Yeah, those tend to burn in the
crispier
oven.
than we wanted them to. This is also my favorite method for cooking, because it takes like no time in the oven. You can do this on a grill. You can do this in a big green egg if you have one. You can do this in a smoker. I'll let you go back to what you were talking about being one thickness.
Yeah, so it's great. So it's one thickness, so everything cooks a little bit more evenly. So then we're gonna roast this in the oven, and are we gonna talk about basting right now? We can talk a little bit about basting. So do you baste?
I do. Do you?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't like to baste. I generally like, so basting is so that you're, two reasons. Some people say that it gets a really crispy skin, also that it really keeps things moist. I find that if you just dry your bird out really, really well before you cook it, and you just leave it, and I start at a pretty high temp. I start at a 450, and then I turn it down. Is that, especially with this, I wouldn't do that with a whole bird, but for spatchcock, I would. I tend to get, it cooks a little faster, and the skin is a little moister.
Yeah, I think I absolutely agree with you. It definitely cooks faster. Also, because you're not getting in and out of your oven, lowering that oven temp while you're getting in and out. I don't baste very often, and mainly I really baste with the whole roasted bird. And I like every 30, 45 minutes.
That's probably pretty good.
More towards the end, because I'm getting in there to temp the bird anyway. So it's like when I go in to take the temperature, that's when I'll go in with the silicone pastry brush. And I just take the pan juices from the bottom and put them back up on top. But before this went in the oven, so this was dry brined for 24 hours. I would say when you're dry brining poultry, minimum of 4, 8's better. Overnight is best.
Right, that is the best.
In your fridge, bottom shelf, because we don't want to cross-contaminate anything.
Yes, we do not want you to put your pie, it should not be above a pie.
No ready-to-eat food.
Yeah, because this is raw, right? And so it's going to be rendering some juice. Some juices might be coming out of there. You just want it on the bottom. That is just the safest place to put your...
On a roasting rack with a rimmed baking sheet underneath to catch anything that's gonna drip off of it. But I mixed a little bit more of that dry brine mix, that salt, fresh herbs, and a little bit of lemon zest.
Our dry brine mix, you guys can all see that.
For that bird, I mixed maybe a 1/4 cup of this in with probably a 1/2 pound of unsalted butter. And just smeared it over, which also helps with...
Did you put it under the skin as well?
I did get up under the skin.
Yeah.
The best.
That is the best.
Okay, now the most traditional. We are gonna show you the whole roasted bird. To get the bird, so here it is, beautiful on your big roasting rack.
That skin looks great.
To get it out, I'm gonna stick the carving fork in one side and a pair of tongs in the other. And I'm just gonna move it up onto the board, just like that. That's how you move turkeys. Or you can do a wooden spoon in one end and tongs in the other, 2 wooden spoons, however you wanna do it. But
love the carving board too, right? You see these carving boards that have all this nice little ridge in here to catch all the juice, because that juice is great for making gravy. So you don't want to lose any of that, and you also don't want it to be pouring over your counter onto your floor. So
that is also why I don't prefer frying, because you lose all of those juices.
Yeah, there's nothing better than a pan sauce. You're getting all that flavor, and then you're going to be building up that sauce and whisking in some, you could even put some wine in there, deglaze with some wine, put some herbs in there, and you're basically building on the flavors that are in the caramelization that you had in your oven to create your sauce. So, yeah.
Next important question. What do you stuff your bird with?
I don't stuff my bird.
Neither do I.
Yeah, if you stuff your bird, you tend to risk that the stuffing doesn't cook all the way. So what I would do is I put my stuffing in a casserole dish and just bake it alongside of your bird. You can stuff your bird with some herbs. I would also rub the cavity with salt and pepper. I would rub it with your dry brine mix with some butter, but before, because inside, like in the cavity, is going to infuse with all those flavors. But in general, I know that our mothers probably put stuffing in the cavity of the bird, but it's not so good anymore. So you just bake that alongside.
Yep. So inside this bird, you'll see I have same herbs that went in the dry brine. Just keep them going throughout. I also have carrot, onion. I put apple in mine.
Delicious.
And some lemon. Oranges are great. What other kind of herbs do you like to
the traditional herbs are rosemary, parsley's wonderful for a little bit of like green tang. Some people like tarragon. Tarragon is much more kind of a French spice, French herb, but it gives it a little bit of like a licorice flavor, but it is delicious. So rosemary, thyme, some oregano, but most importantly, some really good sea salt. Some black pepper, and then butter.
And do you carve your bird table side, or do you do it in the kitchen?
I do it in the kitchen. I do it in the kitchen because I'm kind of a messy cook. So I carve it so that I can present it. Look at that comes right off. So the first thing that Meredith's doing is she's going to be taking off the leg. So if you pull the leg out just gently away from the breast, you're just going to kind of score that skin, peel it away, and then you can just cut right alongside that joint. And then the next thing we're doing is we're going to take off the wings. And those tend to just kind of come off, right? You're just going to score that joint, and then you're just going to pull it back. You're going to see the joint, and then you can just cut right through it. So
you'll see it when I come on to the other side.
There you go.
I realized that I did that a little bit out of order. So these wings were tucked underneath, so you can just kind of pull them out, go through the skin, and everything's going to show you where to carve. You should never feel like you are having to crack through a joint. I actually take my airlines off last.
Oh, nice.
I kind of keep them on to help steady the bird
It
a
is
little
great.
bit.
Yeah, it stabilizes. Yeah, to keep those on.
So now then I crack through this beautiful crispy skin. I kind of do an outline of where the breast is, all kind of around, just so it helps it come off of that rib cage. And it'll show you, you'll see an indent where the breastbone is, and you just kind of go off to the side by like 1/4 of an inch, and then I just start doing swoops. You'll see I'm using my hands. You should definitely rest your bird for 30 minutes after coming out of the oven. If you try to cut into it too soon, all the juices are gonna come off.
Generally, as a rule, what I say is if you can't touch the bird with your bare hands, you still need to let it rest a little bit. So anywhere between a half an hour to an hour that's beautiful. Half an hour to an hour is about the right time that you want to rest it, and that gives you enough time to kind of finish up all your side dishes, especially if you have side dishes that need to be heated in the oven. So in general, the more you pack your oven, everything is going to cook more slowly. So you want to cook your side dishes beforehand, crisp them up in the oven while your bird is resting. And then you can have this time. And the other reason, as Meredith just said, is if you cut into your bird now, it's a muscle and it's really tight as it comes out of the oven, and it needs time for all that moisture to redistribute. And if you don't rest it, it all pours out and you lose it. So that time that you let it rest is ensuring that every piece of that turkey is nice and moist. Beautiful.
I mean, how I was using my hand, you could be using a fork. I know my hands are super clean.
Right.
So I actually like to use my fingers because I can feel where the bone is as I'm carving down this side, and I just kind of use my finger and help move the breast meat aside as I'm going down this rib cage.
Right.
Now, as the chef, this is the best part.
It is the best part.
You get to pick, but I'm also going to just give Danielle a little slice. I'm going to have a little slice.
Thank you.
And we can enjoy some of the fruits of our labor.
Thank you. Oh, that is amazing. Oh, this is beautiful. So good. Thank you.
Tons of flavor.
Moist.
Really moist. This one was very similar to the spatchcock where it was dry brined, and then before it went in the oven, rubbed it with a lot of butter. And then what you saw was me cutting off at the very beginning was some twine. Since I tucked the tips of the wings underneath, I didn't feel the need to, squish them up to the sides of the breast. But I do want I tied the legs.
Right, together.
Just kind of helps keep everything in a nice little package.
Right.
And everything will cook really evenly as you do that. Here's my favorite part, talking about our classes that we offer. In most of our stores across the nation, we have a variety of classes.
We do. So we have some turkey essentials?
Thanksgiving
essentials. Well, you're going to be learning how to roast an entire turkey. We have some variations. We have
Simply Delicious
Thanksgiving, where it's a turkey roulade, which if you don't want to roast a whole bird, you're going to be making a roulade, a roll, and
turkey breast
that you're rolling, and so that you're actually filling with stuffing. And the stuffing that we did with that recipe had some kale, it has some rehydrated cranberries and orange juice, it has some orange zest in it, and then you're going to roll that up and you roast it, and then when you slice it, you have these beautiful rounds of the roulade with your stuffing inside.
It's like a pinwheel, right?
Yeah, it's like a pinwheel. It's beautiful. So that's a nice variation if you don't want to do a whole turkey.
We also have take and bake pie classes with an apple caramel pie, which you'll see us making in one of our next videos.
That's right.
As well as some great pie tips and tricks. We also have a sides video coming up.
We do. We're also doing a bourbon pumpkin pie, which is delicious with some whipped cream. We have some sides that we're doing. We're doing the whole thing. So if you stay tuned, you will be able to it will be able to help you through everything for your Thanksgiving dinner. The other thing that we should point out is that if you ever have any questions, you can always pop into the stores. I am a culinary instructor in one of our stores, and just ask one of the instructors, say, hey, wave them down if they're in the middle of prepping for a class, and say, hey, I have a question. Tell me, hey, here's a good one. How much meat per person for your bird? What's the temp that you need to cook it? Do you have some ideas on where to source ingredients? Because our resident chefs and our culinary instructors are sourcing for our classes, so they might know the best butcher shop. So
we are here for you. Also, we have a great new, it's called drop ship. So you can order online and it'll ship directly to you. Turkeys from Crowd Cow.
Oh yeah, that's
This year, it's brand new to us this year. They're great. They work with sustainable farmers. And with that, you also get all of the information on the farm that your turkey came from. It's so cool. So please bring on all of your questions to us. We will respond back. Pop into a store, ask the chef. We are here for you for all your turkey success.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Enjoy your
Thanksgiving.
time with your family.